Hey, good morning guys, AK40 Kevin here in the Gamer Heaven, and as you know, if you've been around the channel for a while, I usually review custom controllers, premium controllers, something like AIM, Scuff, Battle Beaver, Astro, Razer, stuff like that. I also build custom controllers on this channel, such as this bad boy right here. But I recently did a video reviewing the stock or manufacturer Sony DualShock 4 controller for the PlayStation 4. Now it's Microsoft's turn with the Xbox One controller. This is for the S and X. You can tell if it's an older Xbox controller because it'll have the cutout right here with what they call the chin on it. I think I have a couple of those here actually, such as this bad boy right here. So we're going to get into the stock nitty-gritty of this bad boy and what makes it overall an awesome controller. Let's get it. Alrighty guys, over here at the Stormtrooper desktop, as always, as you see, I have a little assortment of licensed Microsoft Xbox One controllers. You're not going to see any of the Razers or Scuff variants or anything like that. These are all from Microsoft, and these are my personal collection as of now. So, first of all, going from most stock to least stock, I am going to have a separate video going over my actual collection, what I've done to each of these controllers, and why they're valuable to me, why I haven't sold them, considering I run a small business customizing and selling controllers. Picture on the screen here. So, you have a standard Xbox controller. This is for the Xbox S or X. The standard one, or the original Xbox, had a little lip like this. This one's been removed, obviously, to add to that cool, you know, kind of techie Titanfall vibe. But basically, they changed that. They also changed a little bit of the trigger and bumper mechanisms to make them a little bit more durable. They still break pretty frequently, but less often. But all in all, it's remained virtually the same for this generation of the Xbox One. So this is a completely stock controller, and this is what we're here to talk about today. So first of all, build quality is actually pretty decent. You don't hear any creaks or moans or groans or anything. It feels solid in your hand, good weight to it. But honestly, these have had a lot of durability issues in comparison to the Sony DualShock 4 controller, primarily stick drift after a couple months of hard gameplay, and this is very hit or miss. I think it's very batch dependent, but I think they need to lock down their quality control a little bit at the factory. Also, same thing with the bumpers. Bumpers break pretty frequently, and I've even seen some people saying that like their A and B buttons, their most frequently used face buttons, get jammed up. Which to me, I know how to fix all these things, so it's not a huge deal, but for most people that don't want to disassemble these controllers, you know, pop off the shells, take out the screws, take everything apart, the average person doesn't either know how to do that or want to do that. I do have tutorial videos on how to do all this on my channel, so if you're interested in custom controller builds and repairs, please like, subscribe, share, all that other shit. So, I really do think ergonomically these are the best factory controller out there. In comparison to a PlayStation 4, there have been studies saying that the offset stick layout produces less fatigue and strain on your left thumb joint here, but you know, all science aside, because that's too much for my little Italian brain, it just feels better. I have average size hands, but for an average adult in North America, I think the design, the shape of this feels very good. It's a little bit wider in the palm region, then narrows out near the bumpers and triggers, and honestly, it feels really good. Same thing with the offset stick layout. I think that's why a lot of aftermarket PS4 controllers, like the Scuffs and the Razers, they're offset like this. The Astro C40 does offer swappable modules, so you can switch on the fly, which is pretty cool. But sticks feel really good. They use a concave design, unlike the Pro Sticks on the PS4, which are both domed and concaved. But these feel really good. They're also very short, just like a stock PS4 controller, so I always recommend people getting a pair of thumbstick caps from a company like Control Freak that make the sticks higher and also give you a little bit more grip. But all in all, feel really good. L3 and R3 click buttons feel really good. I do like the options and share button here. Unlike the PS4, which are sunken into the shell and kind of hard to hit, these are at a good place to reach, and they work good. The Xbox button here feels really good. I think they look really good too when they're in this brushed aluminum trim. Bumpers feel good when they do work, like I said, but they're at a perfect place to be hit quickly. Transfer between the trigger and the bumper very quickly. This is your pairing button and your charging port on the top. It is micro USB. Both new consoles will be using USB-C, which is a much better medium for cables, so that's good. Triggers I absolutely love on the Xbox controllers, even more so than the PS4, which I do love those triggers as well. I feel like they have a nice linear pull to them, good resistance, and they're just super satisfying to use. I love Xbox triggers, stock Xbox triggers. They feel great. Slap on a little aftermarket pair of trigger stops and you're golden. Face buttons feel pretty good. I like them more than PlayStation 4. They're very clicky, very responsive. They're also they're a little bit closer together than PS4, so if you're playing something like a fighting game where you want to hit multiple buttons at a time, you can technically depress all 4 buttons with just one thumb. Pretty sure you can do that on a PS4 too, depending on what kind of meat hammers you have for thumbs. Just overall, really good. D-pad feels a little bit squishy, but also more tactile and clicky than a stock DualShock 4 controller. And there's been no durability issues with D-pads. I've never heard an issue with the D-pad. Also the back here, this one is just hard plastic, but a lot of them, they're limited edition controllers. For example, this beautiful Cyberpunk 2077 here comes with these rubberized grips from the factory, which is really cool. And overall, I think between the ergonomics and just the overall fit and finish of an Xbox controller, they are my go-to for a standard controller. To the point to where sometimes on PS4 I'll pop in my Brook adapter and use a Xbox One controller on a PS4. I don't dislike the PS4 controller, it is a close second, but I do personally like to go to the Xbox One controller. I am going to have an in-depth comparison of the DualShock 4 from Sony and the X1 from Microsoft. So I really do like the lineup that Xbox offers. They offer a ton of limited edition controllers. For example, these two are virtually unmodified. These are just how they came. This one has some thumbstick caps on it, but that's it. And these look fantastic. I mean, Sony doesn't really do that. They have limited controllers, but they are very basic. They don't change the face buttons. They don't change faceplate shells that have actual etched, engraved, raised textures. They don't change out triggers, they don't do any of that shit. All they do is slap on a limited painted face shell, which is so basic, and then call it a limited controller. So Xbox takes the cake when it comes to custom limited edition controllers. This is their Titanfall one, which I have installed an LED backlight kit in. Remove the chin here, put a sticker over the little home button there to give you a cool custom look, and I am going to be installing paddles on the back and hydro dipping, a cool mechanical design on the back here. So this one's getting pimped out a little bit. This one is virtually stock. I did a build on the channel, a budget build for this one. All this has is a faceplate, super blinding lime green, and then some aluminum face buttons. That's it. Other than that, completely stock. And then Microsoft also offers their Elite line. They have a Series 1 and Series 2 that have magnetized thumbsticks that come off, switchable onboard profiles, 2 different D-pads, and then of course 4 paddles and trigger locks on the back. I have done a review and comparison of this particular controller multiple times on this channel. I guess I'll have links to that shit in the description below. And I wish that PlayStation offered something like that. They now, at the end of the PS4's life cycle, came out with that tack-on or clip-on, bolt-on trigger system, which I have yet to review on this channel because it's very, very hard to get a hold of. It's sold out almost everywhere because they didn't manufacture many of them, and they're also very expensive when you can get a hand on them. And it's not really an elite controller. It adds 2 paddles to a PS4 controller, where this has like thumbsticks, D-pad, trigger locks, paddles. This is a full-on premium controller. There is some build quality control issues with these controllers that I've covered in the past, which kind of sucks. I guess I got lucky with this one. I've had it almost, about a year. And heavy use, no freaking issues whatsoever with this bad boy, but a lot of people have had issues, and that's just no bueno. So overall, I think it's really cool if they offer a very limited edition custom line. Even if you just have a stock one, they ergonomically feel good. Build quality feels good, but again, bumpers and stick drift, you got to keep an eye out for those. Although I do have videos on how to repair those pretty cheaply and easily on my channel. Overall, I love the Xbox controller, and for a stock controller, I would have to give it I'm going to say a 9 out of 10. Same exact score I gave the PS4 controller, but for different reasons. The PS4 is a little bit more forward-thinking with the touch bar, light bar, motion sensing in there, the speaker built in. So they have more niche or very unique features, as where this is just a good old-fashioned ergonomic gamepad that feels good in the hands and will be there for you when you need it. It would have got a perfect 10 out of 10, but the build quality issues. If they could button that down, this would be a 10 out of 10 for a stock, manufacturer controller. Now when you start bolting mods on them and customizing them, obviously that completely changes the dynamic of the controller. That's why I'm not even talking about that in this video. But yeah, that's going to do it, guys. Peace. So if you found this video informative, entertaining, or just stimulated you in any kind of way, please like, subscribe, tallywhack the notification bell, Dutch rudder the subscribe button, all that good shit. Share to your grandmammy and whatnot, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.